Hey everyone, it is Cindy Walter and I have Lori Olson with me today, and it is week 5 already of our 90-day game plan. I can hardly believe it. And I have asked Lori to share with you a little bit about setting goals, really being focused on your goal and your vision and achieving your goals, because you guys are all here with your 90-day game plan goals, and some of you have set some big goals. A lot of you are working on the crystal reset, trying to get to paid as executive. So Lori, I'd like you to start by sharing your story, because one of the things when we were talking about this, I want you guys to all know Lori has 23 active consultants right now. So let's start off with, do you have some that you have that have hit consultant that have maybe fallen off? Do you probably have more than 23?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them aren't even here anymore.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I remember when we were kind of prepping for this, you were sharing that it wasn't always easy. Now it seems easy to talk to people and help them find their 2 people, but it wasn't in the beginning. So I want you to share your story, because I think people will relate to that, because some people are finding it difficult and we want to show them how easy it can be.
well, what I found, really, it was the push to hitting Crystal Executive a couple of years ago that really made me realize, even though I sprinkled you could get your products paid for, or said, do you want to get your products paid for, or do you know a couple people, it was much more about being intentional with them. And the minute I flipped that to, you can keep working every day, day in and day out, and I'm still this way, and kind of just go through the motions and not see a lot of headway. You may enroll a few people sometimes, but until you are intentional on your exact goal, if it's creating consultants, I need to go reach out to this list of people. I need to talk to these people, see how they're doing on the program, offer my help, tell them that it's simple and I'm here to help you, and make sure I and I think you told me this, Cindy, you said work with your new people. And I really had a hard time. I mean, I was probably 9 or 10 months into enrolling people when I was shooting for Crystal Executive after a reset, basically. And I thought, the new people, that will be a lot harder than all these people I already have using the products. But it's totally true, because like anything else, the training you give them when they first start, they're a sponge when they first start, and they will listen to everything that you say, and they'll respond to you, when you first start. Whereas when it's been 4, 5, 6 months, a lot of them will respond back on how you're doing on the program, but they just are a lot harder to mold, I guess, a little bit. So, but that being said, my biggest recommendation when my people are shooting for it, and even me, I'm going for the reset now, and I always want to build consultants, is I just recently went back I always know I have these, you kind of know your handful of people are doing good on the program and kind of some hot leads. I just hadn't taken the time, days had gotten by, to go in and talk to them again and say, hey, are you ready to start sharing? I'm ready to, I'm helping you. And what I usually say is, hey, I'm working with a group of people who are loving isogenics and want to start sharing to get their products paid for. Do you want to join us? So they're not alone.
Perfect. Okay, I hope you guys wrote that down. Write that one down if you didn't, guys. Perfect. That's what I want to share with people. I had a great heart-to-heart with Sharon Robinson yesterday, and she's like, give people the specifics, how-tos. I'm like, you're right, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So
everyone always is asking me for scripting.
Yeah.
Whether it's following up with prospects, whatever, what do I say? And I'm fine with saying this is what I said, tweak it for you, right. But you got to keep just doing it, because then the words just roll off, it's only because you're not putting it into action that you're having a hard time thinking of it. None of it's rocket science. Yeah. It's actually simpler. People want to send something like this. I send something like this.
Yeah. Are you ready to start sharing? I love that. Okay. The other thing that you said to me that I thought was brilliant was you said you realized that you just hadn't enrolled enough people, that you needed to, when you weren't building the consultants quick enough in the beginning, and it was more of a struggle for you, you really needed to take that enrolling to the next step. So share a little bit about that, because I think I think it's that action piece that is missing. People, if they have 10 people, they want all 10 of those people to be their 10. And it's not, I can't tell you how many people I've enrolled, I think over 300 people, and I've probably promoted 50 or 60 consultants. That's, a small percentage.
That's a high percentage though, for how many?
Not all there now. I probably have 30 now. So you do have to enroll a lot of people to find the ones that are ready to share, like you just said, and are ready to get to people. So share a little bit about that and what you did mentally to take that to the next level.
Well, when I was shooting for executive, I had more active people on one side than the other. So don't chase cycles. More consultant associates in general. But then it comes down to, even if you keep your legs balanced, which mine were generally balanced, I might have had a few, somewhere on the other, you still are going to have some that you don't know who's going to stick. So like I got less people sticking over here, even to the program, right? In general. So that means when I looked through, especially on this, lacking side, I was like, okay, I have talked to all those people about becoming, at least sharing. And either they're not ready, they're not going to do it as soon as I need them to. So that means I just got to freaking go enroll more people. So usually the problem, if you feel, whenever I hear my team say no one wants to share, assuming they have asked them and talked to them about it, it's that you need more team members. If you're not enrolling, so I don't know, let's look at percentages. I have 23 active consultants, and I don't know, I've probably enrolled 150 to 200. I know it was over 100 even in my first 18 months. So it's probably 200, at least. So that doesn't mean now. That being said, it doesn't mean that I'm the best person at creating, and mine says unstable too. Isn't working?
You're good though. I can hear you.
It doesn't mean I'm the most efficient person at creating consultants. I certainly could have missed the ball on people. I'm not saying that, but still, with whatever I'm doing, that's still, a small percentage of the people enroll. We have to remember most people come in for product. However, and most people stay for product. However, I remember PK saying 75% of the ISA millionaires came in as product-only users. Mm-hmm. So that was key whenever people are still waiting for people to come in saying they want to do the business, which I do have people come in saying they want to do the business now, never, hardly.
In the beginning.
Before.
Okay, so what do you do with brand new people? Do you talk to them about sharing as you're enrolling a brand new person? Are you planting the seed right away with them?
I think I do most of what I do for sure is, especially if they enroll their spouse immediately, then we definitely have that conversation. So if I have a husband and wife, then I for sure, if they're doing a PK pack, let them know the you +2, them +2, if we get one more that week. Or I just say, well, when you get one more person and you already have one, I kind of talk about that. When it's just an individual person, I briefly talk about it in the enrolling conversation. And then, I have them watch my orientation video, every single person that's pinned to the top of HHP, and I go through it in that video. So that way I can loop back to it. I loop back to that. I loop back to ISA Body, Healthy Mind and Body. They've been immersed. There's a lot of information, but they've at least heard me talk about it, and they know it's there. So I feel confident that I've shown every single person I've ever enrolled that they can get their products paid for. So they know where to go. Even I still need to do more work than that. I'm not saying that, but at least I know they all know, because I know they've all watched it, because I don't do any coaching until they have.
Awesome. All right. So is there anything that you can share with people really working hard to build consultants? Some ideas maybe that you could have them digging in their tree to look for someone that's maybe ordering a lot of BV. What specific things have you done, going into your tree to find these people to approach and then, say, are you ready to share?
I know that Polly talked about lots of the HiVivi last week, so I won't go into that as much. I don't, I'll be honest, I don't do that. I have, and those people sometimes that are my highest product users still They don't even respond when I tell them how much money they can make. Either they don't get it still, or they're just completely not interested. I still think it's a good idea to do it. And even if they don't respond, I mean, who knows if they will later, at least they'll stay active, hopefully, I go more by strong, and that person would have too, but really more by people who are connecting with me and saying, I feel so awesome. I feel so great. This is great. I see them on HHP. They are engaged. They're part of it. And I go by, and I'm not saying I don't offer it to everyone, but most of it, they got to have a strong product experience first. And then when for sure, when I've got enthusiastic people, I immediately say, I'd love to help you get your products paid for. You're clearly going to want to stay on them. You're doing great. Wouldn't it be nice not to pay for them next month? It's very simple. I'll walk you through the easy steps. But and I'll do that one-on-one as I'm, like on a day 5, day 10, whatever, these people are telling me they feel great. I invite them to our calls, but before that, I just try and get them to, put a post up. And I think the most helpful thing you can do is give them the words to put up, because they don't know what to post and they'll overthink it for like a month. If you
give
don't.
An example, like what would you tell me if I were one of your new people ready to share? How would you kind of coach me to post for the first time? Because I think sometimes we do make the mistake of, and I know I'm honestly, if I were to go back to see what I posted in the very beginning, it was like isogenics. I mean, I was terrible. We get better as we evolve, but what tips would you give someone that's, sharing?
I use the general cookie cutter thing. Before I started this system, I was the script, and I tell them, here is an idea to know the type of words that generate people's interest. You do not need to follow this word for word. In fact, the more authentic it is to you, the better. And some people are good with that, and some people just can't write, very well. And I'm not saying, and that doesn't matter. Right. So sometimes they use it word for word, and sometimes they don't. A lot of times they do come up with something else, but I'm like, this is just to give you, if you don't, if this doesn't feel like you don't use it, but this is give you an idea of the type of words to use, A, instead of isogenics, B, that gets people's attention, because we mention things more than just the weight loss. Plus it's compliant, so I don't have to worry about, and I always have them send it back to me before they post it. I also let me know. So then sometimes people are like, but they still aren't posting it. I go, I ask them when they're going to post it. So when are you going to post it? Well, when do you think I should post it? Right. Well, definitely don't post it. I had someone like, well, I guess anytime's good. I'm like, well, it's 11 o'clock PM right now. I would not suggest posting it now. Right. So let's post it. If it's the week, if it's a Monday, let's post it tomorrow, late afternoon, or evening. If I'm on a Friday, I'll probably have them wait until Sunday night.
Right? Yeah.
Just so it's not, but then I let them know I'm going to be right here in case you have questions on. I've kind of told them how to respond, but I used to do it the wrong way and tell them, okay, so then you'll do this, and 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 then they did nothing, of course, because they're like, never mind, this is going to take way too much time, right? So I do the post working on it, and then I'm available for when it starts blowing up.
Okay, which was my next question. So say I do my first post, and now people are saying, ooh, PM me, yes, I'm interested, PM me. Yeah. What's your next step? Trying to get them to invite to HHP? Like where would you go next?
And this is the funny thing. I found that my team too had such a hard time knowing, even when people did want to share, they didn't know how to coach them. I'm like, you're just going to tell them to do what you do. It's what you do every day. What do you say to someone when they ask you what you're doing? Then what do you do? Okay. And then what do you do? It's what you do. This is what you do. You should be able to master what you do. Right. So yes, make sure everyone that asks, you don't say isogenics there, have them, send them a private message, tell them that. So then they're like, okay, I go, and then if it's blowing up, do not freak out. These people do not have to be responded to in 5 minutes. Right. I mean, if it's tomorrow morning and you have a lot of people, that's fine. I mean, gosh, the more in demand you are, the better. Don't feel stressed about it, but do know that this can be one of your busiest times. So do it at a time that you at least could respond. Right. So anyway, then I'm like, now in the message, tell them how much you love it. It's blowing your mind. What are your goals? I think I like to, instead of say, okay, I'll add you to my page. Okay, I'll add you to my page. Okay. I mean, that's like you're just checking them off a list.
Right.
Find out their goals. I mean, it does help to know they may not want weight loss. They may want energy, whatever.
Well, and I think it's nice too when we do a welcome to be able to say, hey, everybody, I want you to meet my friend Lori. She's a gym rat. She is here for great nutrition for her workouts. And, then people can have an idea on what to say to when they welcome her.
Yeah.
So.
And if they're a runner, I like go in there and go, Lisa Maciel, or Cindy Walter or whatever so that they know that there's something to match their goals.
Right.
And most of the time I have them all use the Just Cleanse video. It works for most people almost all the time. We may add something extra too, but anyway, tell them your goals. And I said, but you know what? No matter what they say their goals are, guess what you can say? And they're all like, this is perfect, right? I mean, literally for everything, it will work.
Right.
Unless they say you have cancer and you need to cure it. No. But basically everything, and say, you know what? I'll add you to my private coaching page and get you some information. You'll love it. We can connect after you watch a couple of the videos for your goals. And then they all know I'm like, just put them in HHP. Same thing, you guys. Put up a welcome, tag them in the welcome. And then I usually, depending on how Facebook tech savvy your person is, I used to go in and just add the videos for them, but sometimes I couldn't keep up when I was working with lots of people and they're adding like 10 people. So I just copy and paste, put this in the comments, Just Cleanse. I put this in the comments. Mm-hmm. If they're struggling with Facebook in general and don't know how to copy and paste a link or something, then I take over and do it for them.
And help
just
them.
The first time.
Yep.
So then after they've done all that, then I show them the HHP checklist. And then they're going to look at the checklist going, oh yeah, oh great, here's all the links. Okay, this is what she did. Instead of, I typically do it that way, depending on how aggressive the person is, then send them the checklist and say, do this. Because that looks, once again, it's a big long document they got to study before they
don't want to overwhelm people.
Anything. Yeah.
We want to keep
people are like, just guide me in the right direction and I'll do it. Right. You know your people. If you have some awesome person like that, then
right. Awesome. All right. Anything else now? I know, Lori, you are a 5-star Golden Circle, and Crystal Executives. How many do you have?
3.
3-star Crystal Executive. How awesome. So what's your 90-day game plan goal?
6 stars is lofty for me to get done by the 90-day game plan. So I know you do get to that place that it's, what is it, right? Then, so really to me, it was more about creating those executives on my team. So my goal was 3, I can't remember, but 3, for sure 3, maybe 4, but 3 more new Crystal Executives on my team, and to do Crystal Executive myself, reset.
That's awesome. And so my last question is, what kind of focus and vision do you have to have when you're setting big goals like that for yourself? Because this is where, we're already a third of the way into the 90-day game plan. I've noticed on my coaching calls that I'm doing myself, I've lost a couple people. And so this is when it starts. People start to have self-doubt, it's kind of like this. So what kind of focus do you need to have through the end of this in order, and to everybody watching this, what kind of focus do they need to have? And what do they need to do to accomplish their goals?
Here's what I told my team just my last week to do. First of all, when people send me their 90-day game plan goals, sometimes I have them up them because they're ridiculous. Okay. They're a consultant and they're going for manager.
They're not dreaming big enough.
What?
They're not dreaming big enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I understand that people set a goal oftentimes, especially when they're new to goal setting, for what they think they can do easily than what they really want to see happen. Right. So I think that's what we have to coach people is, no, put no limits on yourself. I always say, don't worry about how you're going to do it. Just tell me what you want to do. What do you want? Like, would you want to be Crystal Executive, or would you rather, if you have a choice, do you want manager or executive? Which one do you want? So then we get them a little thinking bigger already. So the only way they can have good focus is if they already expand their mind. Okay. And so anyway, I had some of them up their goals a little bit. And then last week on my team call, we were talking about how you have to speak like you already are there, right? Like I will be. But I told them, because I've seen this from Jay Bennett and someone else, you need to write down on a sticky note, and many of them do, I am whatever you want to be. I am Crystal Executive. I am. And when you have that kind of focus, and then you stick that sticky note, and maybe it's more than one, on your computer screen, wherever you need to see, to remind you you are speaking with intention. Because if you aren't speaking it, you aren't believing it. And you have to speak with that kind of conviction. So, I mean, perfect example is this top achievers that I've missed from my own lack of watching. All of a sudden the cycles crept up, and I didn't think I was in the game, and I was back in the game. And, you know, I basically likely missed it by a little bit. And I told my story on Facebook, and I was in the shower going, I mean, I was disappointed, you know, in myself. And I thought, I have to get to 100 cycles again I only have 2 weeks, not just anytime, just these 2 weeks. It has to happen. We just finished the 10% off biggest boom we've had like since the beginning of the year, and actually for a really long time. I hit it that week, but like, do you really think that can happen? And I just finally decided that it's not impossible. So why would you, and do you want it to happen? Yes, I do, you know? So I am going to do whatever it takes. And I will always, and someone else told me this a long time ago in my other company, when I was going for a different incentive, they said, well, choose your pain, Lori. You either choose your pain of watching, you know, other people achieve what you didn't put your all into, and not give it 100%, knowing that you could have tried harder. Or you choose the pain of hunkering down and working your tail off to see what's possible.
Well, we know it's possible, and we are all here cheering you on, sister.
But it's hard to put that out there when you're not, so when I did it, my point is, I understand it's hard to say when you're not sure you can do it. Or you can do it, you're not sure it will happen, right? That's all there is to it. You're not 100% sure it will happen. I'm not either, but I'm 100% sure I want it to happen. So if I put it out there, then I know I got to work hard to go for it.
Yeah. I used it. My quote in our last company was, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll still land among the stars. Right. I still love that quote, and I still believe it. So in your situation, you know, worst case scenario, you have 2 better weeks than you would have without pushing.
Totally,
so,
100%.
Absolutely.
I had to learn that lesson in my previous company for going for some big achievements, and I was disappointed at the end of the year that I didn't get. I mean, later I did, but you do fail forward. That's what I think people don't realize.
That's right.
And one of my own team members had to say, but Lori, your year ended up way better than it would have if you wouldn't have set that goal.
Right.
And that's true.
And that's what we want for all of you guys watching this. So we're hoping you did dream big with your 90-day game plan goal. You know, I haven't always achieved mine. This is probably our 6th 90-day game plan. And I think there's been 2 that I didn't promote. I did not rank advance, but I still was better off than I was before I started the 90-day game plan. So it didn't make me change my process of setting a goal for the next game plan, because you have to shoot for something bigger. You absolutely have to, but we want you to stay focused, and we want you to really, really set your intentions on that goal. Write it down. If you guys have I still use a Franklin planner, even though everything's on the computer and phone, but every day I am a Crystal Executive. I am a 2-star Golden Circle. Whatever your goals are, write it down, like Lori said, sticky notes. So there's a homework assignment. Make sure it's everywhere, and make sure it's your focus. And that anytime there's a distraction or a disappointment or something happens that didn't go your way, you're able to get focused in right back on your goal and stay focused on that, and don't let it deter you.
Yeah. One of the other tips I share with my team that I think has helped a lot, and we all tend to take for granted, and I have myself, that's why I learned the lesson, is to have open communication with your family, especially your spouse. I said, think about it. If you, especially the people first getting into it, and all of a sudden they're disappearing for 2 hours every night on their phone or on their computer, and they haven't vocalized what they're working towards and what their goals are and the income that's possible, like none of this stuff. And the spouse just sees nothing coming back and them dinking around every night, or they don't even understand that is what creates the friction and I've had that. Okay. So it wasn't that he didn't know I was working, but I just wasn't clear about, well, I'm on a phone call right now. Well, you didn't tell me I don't know that, all I know is you disappeared and here I am with the kids. And if I support you in your goals, I just need to know, tell me, so then I know, okay, I need to be here with the kids, not just where'd Lori go.
Right.
So that has been huge for us. Even a year in, it's huge for us. I constantly say on days he's home, this is what I have, this, and I have this, and I have this. I just want you to know, just so you're not wondering what I'm doing.
And making your family your why, not your excuse. Why not? Absolutely. Making them a part of it, but part of the goal setting. What will you do with your family when you achieve your goals to celebrate and make it something that they're not like, oh, mom's on the phone again with Isogenics. And I've had some of that. I mean, I've definitely had to work through this with my children and my family. My husband, not so. He's really sees the vision, but with my children. And so, yeah, it's very, very great advice to keep the communication open. Well, thank you so much. I think people will get a lot out of this video. So comment below, guys, with a takeaway. What did you take away from Lori's time that she shared with you today? And thank you, Lori, so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. I hope everyone just rocks it out this 90 days. My team's been doing great. They really, I can't speak for every single person. I know some people still struggle more than others, but your time is, I think everyone's breakthrough just comes at a different time. And if you keep listening, and keep attending, those breakthroughs will happen.
Absolutely.
Something that clicks.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you. And thank you guys for watching. We will see you next week. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Lori.